Hey guys, Cyril's back at it again for another video. This time we're back for the Cyril highlights. We're about to start. We've delayed the start. I didn't recall qualifying. Cyril Verstappen's absolutely jumped the start, an absolute century. We've had a lag start of the .com/shipmeup.com. Yes. Okay, right, basically, I didn't record the qualifying lap. I didn't put an introduction into this video. This is all being just slammed in because I can't be bothered to actually waste more time at this. Basically, Cyril Verstappen, he's jumped the start by an absolute year and a half before anyone else has got off the grid, and I've jumped the start by about 3 minutes before anyone else. Cyril Verstappen, Cyril Hamilton's going up my inside, going into turn 4, and we're now side by side going into turn 5, I think? I don't know. Yeah, we've done that. Okay, so we have survived. We are on the medium tyres. Cyril Verstappen's on the softs, but he's going to have to make a pit stop to serve that drive-through penalty that he's most likely got. Cyril Hamilton, he's on the softs. He bottled qualifying for some reason. He decided, you know what, I want to be a spastic and, you know, start on the softs. He's going up the inside. We got close to Cyril Verstappen. I think Cyril Hamilton may have had to cut the corner, but we've actually managed to keep it round his outside, trying to control the traction going up the hill, going into the right-hander. We're all over the back of Cyril Verstappen now. At this point, he's going to start giving us dirty air, and we're going to start understeering and everything. So we've kind of got to make a move, like pretty much like here, right now. We've had to dive it down the inside, try and make sure we don't touch him. But Cyril Verstappen, not Cyril Verstappen, fuck! Cyril Hamilton's followed us through, and he's going to be in our slipstream, trying to follow us down the straight. And that's Arctic Avenger as well. It's probably worth pointing out, unless you probably haven't been able to find out from the title, depending what I call this video, because I actually have no idea. We could win the Drivers' Championship at this in this video or at this race right now. As long as I win this race, I would have mathematically won the championship in front of Burner F1 and Arctic Avenger 2. But right now, we need to kind of just stay in front of these two maniacs as we try and squeeze out Cyril Hamilton going through turn 1 and into turn 2. Arctic Avenger's around his outside, trying to see if he can make a move, but he can't. So Cyril Hamilton's going to keep in our slipstream. He's just going to whore it off, like, I'm not going to finish that sentence. Going through turn 4 now. Oh, Cyril Hamilton's getting a beautiful drift on the exit of turn 4. Going through turn 5 into a little bit of 5th gear action as well. Oh, bit more 5th gear action. 6th gear on the grass, it's not going to help us at all. Going into the double right. May have to make a sort of correction there. Obviously, at this point, Cyril Hamilton, he's got the better tyres, he's got faster tyres, but his tyres are going to degrade a lot quicker than ours, but we've got slower pace than him, up until probably like lap 3 or 4. That's when we would actually start to be quicker, but he will be able to follow us in the slipstream and the DRS, so he won't be losing time. But Arctic Avenger, he's on the same strategy as me, as we go very wide going into the penultimate corner. Cyril Hamilton's putting his nose up our inside, we're going to have to give him space, but he hasn't quite got the traction on the exit of the corner, so we are going to manage to keep in front for at least a few more meters. But Arctic Avenger, he is the person that I realistically just need to beat, really. He is the only person on the circuit that is most important to me that I have to beat. But I pretty much need to win this race in order to win the championship. Cyril Hamilton's in our slipstream. We're going to defend the inside line. Arctic Avenger sets the fastest lap of the race. Cyril Hamilton's on our outside. He's broke later than us. We're going to squeeze him out. We've actually slightly missed our braking point. We're squeezing him out a little bit. Arctic Avenger's now trying to pop it down around our outside. He can't find us. He can't quite get through. Cyril Hamilton, we've managed to get past him again. Arctic Avenger hasn't got anywhere to go. He's stuck in P3 against these two knobheads that just can't exactly sort each other out. Basically, going into turn 4, we're going to maintain the lead. The top 3 remaining the same as it has been pretty much since turn 1, apart from, you know, Cyril Verstappen being the almighty chippo that he is, jumping the start. Going into the double right once again. At this point, I think it's right about now, Cyril Verline just said that someone had lagged back on his screen and blown him up. Basically, that just happened to Cyril Hamilton. I've lagged back on his screen and I've completely blown up his front wing. More or less his end plate. But that is basically Cyril Hamilton out of this race, really. It's game over for the Singapore race winner. Well, yeah, you guys actually wouldn't know about that, would you? But yeah, that is basically the end, you would think, of Cyril Hamilton's race. And so he's just going to be trying to make his way back up through the field just to score as many points as possible. But now it is the man that we need to beat. It's Arctic Avenger 2, who's managed to just win, basically. I think it was like 3 out of the first 5 races he's been in, which is quite extraordinary. He's had a lot of traction, and that was my teammate, but not really my teammate, Iceman Raikkonen, going into the pit lane, but going down into turn 1. Arctic Avenger, he's got the slipstream, he's got the DRS, he's pulling around our outside. His tyres are actually got better percentage of wear than mine, and he's going to hang it, he's going to put it up our inside going into turn 2. We've got to try and get a cut back on him. We've got to go round it outside. We've got to try, but I think we're not close enough. And we've actually tapped his rear end, losing the rear end a little bit, but we've managed to keep it going. We're up his inside going into turn 4. Arctic, he leaves the space, probably a bit too much space. We're going to get the better traction coming out turn 4. Into turn 5, we're going to go side by side. Arctic Avenger, he backs out of it. I was actually trying to back out of it as well, but then Arctic backed out, and I was like, fuck it, I've just got to take the position as it is. And we've maintained first place after that small few cornerish battle. Reminded me a little bit of the Daniel Ricciardo and Max Verstappen battle, although they managed to continue it going into the double rights, and I think it started at turn 4 and not at turn 1. Anyway, back onto lap 7. We're actually going to make our pit stop, but Arctic Veggie's going up our inside, so we've got to try and swipe across him, just trying to get the best line as possible going into the pit lane. Pretty good pit entry there, and braking as late as we can. We could have braked a little bit later, but I found a very good braking point for the pit lane, but I'd actually started overshooting it like on the lead up to the actual race, so then I just started to brake a little bit earlier, just in case. A 2.2 second pit stop from Mercedes, it's pretty good, must be said. Skipping on to lap 10 now, as you can see, everyone's made their pit stops on the hards, and well, we are leading the race, which is basically where we need to be. And of course we've got the undercut on Arctic Avenger. You'd think that we were going to win this race by quite a reasonable amount. Oh no, do you know what, it just doesn't matter anymore. Fucking safety car. Do you know, I was actually heartbroken at this point. I thought my race is just over. Senna 46 Babaloon is just completely blown himself up. He retired for the race. I don't know if he's on purposely retired or really what happened, but he retired, he crashed, I don't know, and it's brought out a safety car, and at this point I'm pretty much thinking it's game over. It is just game over. I'm not, because now the likes of Sarah Hamilton's going to be catching the field again, and obviously the whole field's going to be very compact as well. So, well, that basically our advantage that we had is completely gone. Lap 10 is basically the death of us right now. Also, quick mention, I had a glitch in qualifying where my screen was just, like, it was just black, and I had to actually leave the lobby, rejoin, and I was in Hamilton's car. So, right now, I'm hashtag blessed, okay? So, really, nothing should go wrong. Here I should add Hamilton's engine behind me. I think that would be good. And, well, I'll say that, I mean, that could happen as well, but, you know, banter. I'm so getting murked in the comments for that one. We've got Arctic Avenger, he's going to be behind us, and nobody, I think, oh no, never mind, there's actually a few people in the pit lane, not including Iceman Raikkonen, because for some reason I've got 2 teammates in this race. It's just 10 out of 10 logic, isn't it? So now we've just thrown it into 8th gear, trying to save our fuel, and as you can see, we're going to cut back to, well, we're going to skip forward to lap 13, where, as you'll see at the top of your screen, it will say the safety car is in this lap. So the safety car was out for about 3 or 4 laps, I think it was 3 laps, and we'll circulate in the track for about 3 laps. Now we are going to be, well, we've just got to maintain speed. I'm going to try and, like, back up the pack, but I also don't want Cyril Hamilton, who's now in 3rd, to close right up. Oh yeah, Cyril Hamilton's in 3rd, he was in 4th, but Iceman Raikkonen actually pit while the safety car was out. So on lap 10 he actually came into the pits and basically dropped him right to the back of the field, I'm pretty sure. As you can see, look at the you would have seen from the, if you go back and look at the well, you can see it there. If you look at my acceleration, it's just constantly going like on and off, on and off. Look at, I'm trying to go flat out, and it just wasn't letting me. And I was trying to burn my fuel as well, because I've got like +2 laps or something. So now, at this point, I know we're going to be able to go at full speed coming out this last corner, so I've tried to completely gun it, but the the game's like tried to stop me. Cyril Hamilton's actually spun along with his teammate, I'm pretty sure, Ice Cool 7F1. I think he spun as well, and Cyril Verstappen as well, I'm pretty sure, spun as well in that, at the back there. So it was a massive, massive cluster after the safety car restart. But we've managed to get the start of Dreams, and are still leading the race ahead of Arctic Avenger 2 and IRL Giovinazzi, this is probably the furthest he's ever got in a CRR race, apart from Canada where he won. So GG to you, Gio. You've actually made it 14 laps into the not Singapore Grand Prix, but the Sepang Grand Prix without retiring, which is just fantastic. Going through the left-right part, I don't know, going into the double rights, the 50-meter board is gone, and I've completely just misjudged it completely because it's gone. The 50-meter board that was used as my turn-in point is actually just gone. I think actually Iro Giovinazzi took that out, so... Okay, I retract what I said about the nice things I said about you, Giovinazzi. Fuck you. And, I'm actually just lost for words right now. I don't really know what to say. I've kind of just been speed talking throughout this whole thing. Not really knowing what to say, in fairness, but still leading the way, just controlling that traction like a boss. We still got Arctic Avenger right behind us. We're going defensive into the final corner. We're going to move our way back onto the racing line, braking just after the 100-meter board into the final corner. We're getting a tight line on the exit. As you can see, Arctic not quite keeping the same sort of run as us. But as you can see, lap 18 now, we started to build a gap to Arctic after he made a mistake. But the safety car's come out again. I don't know why the safety car came out again. I think it was a massive thing in the party chat that I was in, that nobody had spun out, there were no crashes, nobody had retired. So, for whatever reason, the safety car had come out, and we were all baffled on why this happened. I'm not sure, because this is like the first time I've had the safety car come out on this game, really. And I wasn't sure if this was maybe a glitch that happens, where when the safety car comes out once, it, for whatever reason, will come out again. I wasn't quite sure. So, I was very confused at this point, and as well, I was very unsure on what to do, because the pit lap was something like lap 21 on the hard tyres, but now it's lap 18, the safety car's now out, and like, what do you do? Like, could you risk the one stop and go to the end on this set of hards, or do you pit for softs? Because I don't have a fresh set of mediums left, because you may have seen that it said mediums there, I'm not sure, but I don't have a fresh set of mediums remaining. So at this point I'm kind of like, oh, what do I do? I was just very baffled on what I should do. At this point, as you can see, I'm just going flat out now. I'm just absolutely going for it, trying to get to the pit lane with a bigger gap as possible to try and come out in first. And then I've realised, oh, do you know, it's not going to work. So I've slowed it down, and then I'm going to thrash my way into the pit lane, trying to get into the pit lane as quick as I can, stopping for the pit lane speed limiter. And now we're going to be pitching for a set of soft tyres. As you can see, are we going to get held up? No, we're not. Just about not getting held up by Arctic Avenger, as Giovinazzi goes in front of us, but he needs to make a pit stop. There he goes. Giovinazzi, he went onto a set of mediums. Arctic Avenger, as you can see behind us, he went onto a set of softs. And Cyril Verline was actually behind Arctic at that point, and he's actually gone onto a set of softs as well. As you can see, Red Bull TN13, he stayed out on the hard tyres. I'm not sure if he made a pit stop when the first safety car was out, or what happened, but he continued on, and he's now leading this race. I don't really know what on earth happened. I'm not sure if Giovinazzi actually had a fresh set of mediums left, because I'm not actually sure why he went onto the mediums, but in party chat we were very confused on what was the perfect strategy. But as you can see, we've kind of like jumped forward quite a bit, because I didn't actually have the footage for it. We've had an amazing run out of that final corner as the safety car's gone in, and we've got our way back into first place. As you can see, Red Bull TN13, he's just got no grip at all. He's gone from first to third to fourth in just the space of 2 corners and a straight, just because of the tyre advantage that everyone else around him has. But as I was saying earlier, it was a massive thing at this point in the party chat that I was in. I was in a party with Cyril Verstappen, Cyril Hamilton, and Cyril Verline, and we were all very confused on what to do. Cyril Hamilton was convinced that you could not get the soft tyres to the end unless you did some massive tyre saving, which would slow you down quite a lot. Myself and Cyril Verline, we took that risk and we said, you know what, we're just gonna go for it. We're gonna go out on the softs and we're gonna see if we can get to the end and just see what happens. As you can see, we're actually 7/10 up on our PB, and we're actually not even pushing to our max, really. We're actually just like trail braking into the corners, not braking as late, not braking as hard, not using the acceleration as hard. As you can see, 9% tyre wear already, but if this was at the normal start of a race, we would already have probably like 15% tyre wear. If there's a fresh set of tyres, we would start the restart with 2 or 3% tyre wear. So it's quite a good start, really. As you can see, Arctic Venture, who I'm not sure if he was going to be tyre saving or not, but he just made the jump. He was just going all out, I'm pretty sure. And as you can see, Iceman Raikkonen is well behind us. Into turn 1. At this point, I'm kind of thinking I've really just got to maintain first place now. There was no way I was just going to let first place just disappear from me now after I've had 2 real opportunities to win this race, and they were just thrown away due to the safety car, which was just really annoying. In fairness, like these were the first 2 times a safety car's ever been deployed in CRL, because it wasn't on F1. The safety car wasn't on F1 2015, if you remember, and we actually didn't have the safety car enabled for a lot of the season. Up until Singapore, we actually enabled it. And as you can see, some sort of massive amounts of lag started happening. As you can see, I'm just looking behind me, just like Arctic's car's lagging all over the place. And Arctic's actually onto the grass, and he's spun. He's actually hit the wall, and that was actually because of the lag that had started happening. He's actually retired from the race, and it's basically game over at this point for Arctic Avenger. He cannot mathematically win this championship anymore. So as it stands, we are actually CRL Season 3 champions, because Burnt F1, who you may remember from earlier in the season, he actually left the league, and we still counted his points in the overall championship. So he's still actually in 2nd place, ahead of Arctic. Arctic needed to beat me in this race in order just to stay in the championship fight, and I needed to win to mathematically beat Burnout so that I would win the championship. But everything's just disappeared. Arctic Avenger, he's now out of the race. I'm winning, and Burnout F1, he can't score any more points for the rest of the season because he's not in the league anymore. And as it stands, mathematically, we would be on 273 points, 74 points actually, and we would be Drivers' Champion in CRL. I've not won a League Racing Championship in over a year. Way over a year at this point, I'm pretty sure. So at this point, I'm just shitting myself. I'm just like, oh my fucking, there's no way that this is actually happening. Because I knew, as soon as Burnett had kind of left the league, a little bit before really, I knew that this was sort of my championship to lose after the points gap. So I kind of knew that I would end up winning. But I was very surprised that I was going to win it this early. This is like the flying Finn early, when we're going to be winning this championship. And as you can see, we're on lap 27. We've got Iceman Raikkonen, who really should be in the McLaren, in 2nd. We got Cyril Verline in P3, who only joined the league like 2 races ago, and he's in P3. So, and he is a serial leader as well. And he only came back onto Xbox after being on PS4 like only a few weeks ago, and he's running in P3 in this race at the moment, which is extraordinary. And actually, just to let you know, that Cyril Verstappen is in P4, so this is actually just outrageous. And as you can see, we've we've also managed to get our tyres this far into the race, which is quite astonishing. And at this point I was just praying that Cyril Verline could actually get onto the podium, because in his comeback race, and he'd be, well, in his third race on his return, he'd be on the podium. But as you can see, top left, Cyril Verstappen is now into the podium positions, so that isn't overly brilliant for Cyril Verline, but fantastic news for Cyril Verstappen, who would be looking to get his second podium of the season. But the most important thing right now is that we're weaving on the straight. We're gonna win, the way it's looking at the moment. We are gonna win the CRO Season 3 Championship at Malaysia, our 4th League Racing Championship.
Nuppy, we did it! Nuppy, we did it! Rosberg.